Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or good afternoon. Today, I would like present to you about my uh, article about application of project-based learning and STEAM in higher education. My name is Miranti Puspaningtyas, and all of my friend in this team is Mrs. Sulastri and Mrs. Sulika. We are from Universitas Negeri Malang. The background of the research is learning should guide students to gain their ability and skill to know, work on, and take into account various information critically and learning model that teaches students to be actively involved in the learning process is project-based learning model. As we know, project based learning is a learning model that applies project or activity as mean of learning to form attitude, knowledge, and skill competencies. The application of project based learning model can be combined with many kind of approaches. Uh, the example that we choose is the STEAM approach that combine project-based learning with science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. The STEAM approach maximizes students creating their own understanding of the learning process by combining several aspects of the field of the study in real life. Though through this project-based learning and STEAM learning model, students are expected to be able to think critically during learning activities because they are directly involved in the learning process in order to complete a project on a product that is produced independently or not only for independently, maybe they create the project as a team. Therefore, this study aimed to apply a project-based learning model with STEAM approach to accounting learning. I'm sorry. Okay. Therefore, this study aimed to apply project-based learning with a STEAM approach to accounting learning based on several sources that we have been sampled before. The method of this research is using a quasi-experimental design in the form of a non-equivalent control group design. Yeah, this research is designed use two classes to be compared. One experimental classes and one is the control classes. Educator or the teacher should give a pretest to both classes to assess their initially ability and then are given the treatment to which one of the most important to be treated, which the ends with giving a final test, or we call it post test. Thus, the result can be known more accurately because they can be compared with the situation before and after. I'm sorry, yeah, because they're mistaken of written, which mean we compare the situation before and after the treatment was given. The population of this study was all the student of 2020, all of the student of accounting education program in FAUM. We called it we called the familiar name of Universitas Negeri Malang, Faculty of Economic Universitas Negeri Malang with FAUM. Yeah, so this population was an accounting study program students, class of 2020. And the sampling technique used purposive sampling technique based on the technique the cost accounting class was selected as the research sample because we know that cost accounting is something complex, have a complexity to be understanding. So they need a treatment, they need a new method, yeah, so they can be help another person, another SMEs, another business to uh, to count their cost, yeah, to count their cost. So we selected the cost accounting classes because that reason. The research procedure includes the planning stage, the implementation stage, and the final stage. For the planning, for the planning stage, we're preparing for the semester lecture plan, or we call it RPS, yeah. And the research instrument, we give it in the form of the test sheet. We call it pre-test first, and then post-test after we give the treat. For the implementation stage is by providing project-based learning and STEAM learning treatment as well as pre-test and post-test before and after given the treatment. While the final stage is to analyze, discuss, and draw conclusion. The data of the study are primary data, namely essay test sheet. The essay test contain cases in the course of cost counting. Before instrument is given, it is first tested on the instrument with using SPSS. Yeah, we using the SPSS to to know how the validity of the instrument, the reliability test, the level of difficulty, and discriminatory power of question. The data analysis technique used the independent sample t-test, which was carried out on the data gain score, yeah, or the difference between the pre-test and the post-test. And before carrying out the hypothesis test using the t-test, the data analysis prerequisites test was carried out first by carrying out the data normality test and homogeneity test. And then as normally tested by SPSS, we do the normality test and one sample Kolmogorov-Smirnov technique, yeah, and the homogeneity test was carried out by Levin test or Lavenas test. The result, yeah, we know that the application of the project-based learning model with which combined with STEAM approach could improve student critical thinking skills. This is because students are actively involved in the learning process so that students more easily understanding the material being studied. Student critical thinking skill in the cost behavior analysis have increased. The student carried out each stage of learning by using a project-based learning model combined with STEAM approach. In the start stage, we with the essential question, students are given the problems related to the material analysis of cost behavior of in SMEs. We're using SMEs because we know that SMEs is a more uh, easily to student to take the data because it surrounded by uh, environmental, yeah, we can find the SMEs in our environmental, so easily we can find the SMEs. So uh, in the start stage, sorry, in the start stage, the essential question, students are given problem related to the material analysis cost behavior in MSMEs. At the stage, students make observation to the SMEs about how the behavior of costs in MSMEs or SMEs, we call it SMEs, yeah. Uh, and then in the design of plan of for project stage, students design instrument for observation in SMEs. In the create of a schedule stage, student prepare an observation schedule, and then in the monitoring stages, the student and the progress of the project, the lecture monitor the progress of project carried out by the student. At this stage, at the monitoring stage, it will be known of the obstacle faced by the student when carrying out the project. And the assess the outcome stage evaluation of project result is carried out without a learning objective. In the evaluation stage, the lecturer and student together evaluate the learning experience carried out. The science refer to the student understanding the concept of cost behavior analysis in SMAs, which mean technology refer to the uses of media such as laptops or handphone, which is using Android or etc. And then to complete their project assignment and the use of the internet to support the learning process. The third about the engineering. Yeah, the engineering refers to the implementation of research and development to work on cost behavior analysis project in SMEs. And last, not last, but is art. Yeah, art refer to the stage of recording calculation carried out by students in solving problems using the basis of internal account judgment. And last but not least, we use the mathematics because we want to know how about the cost, how about behavior of using cost or behavior of how they do the course or how they implement the course. So we using mathematics to calculation in determining cost behavior in SMEs. And the application of project-based learning model with a STEM approach makes students have a meaningful experience, a lot of experience that they get from this project-based learning, yeah, because during the learning process, students are directly involved with the real contextual cases in SMEs. At the time of project preparation, students are involved in problem solving, decision making, or investigate activities so that students have the opportunity to independently produce a product. For the conclusion, the results show that the application of the project-based learning model with STEM approach could improve student critical thinking skill in accounting learning. Student critical thinking skill have increased before and after being given treatment. The application of project-based learning and STEAM model in the learning process has also succeeded in the making students more active in the learning process. Uh, that's for me. Thank you for the attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the thank you for the changes to present my article about research my research about education. Hopefully you can give us a good suggestion for we repair our article. Thank you and see you later.